Imagine this. It is Wednesday night. Payday was Friday. And you are already checking your balance, hoping the numbers are different from what you remember. They are not. The groceries, the rent, the electricity bill, the afterpay repayment that snuck up on you. And somewhere between all of it, the money just disappeared again. That is not a you problem. That is a pattern problem. And patterns can be changed. Right now, half of all Australian workers are living paycheck to paycheck. Not half of low-income workers. Half of all workers. 9 in 10 Australians say living pressures were worse in 2025 compared to previous years. And 27% feel the financial impact of rising costs every single day. Almost half of Australians say cost of living pressures have worsened or triggered anxiety and depression, affecting their sleep, health, and relationships. Cars Guide +2. So if you feel like you are running hard just to stay in the same spot, you are not imagining it. The pressure is real. But here is the part most people never hear. More money alone does not fix it. Because the average Australian has $42,246 in savings, and that number actually fell by $4,579 compared to the previous year. Incomes did not fall. Savings did. Which means the problem is not what is coming in. It is what is slipping out. True Car Price. In this video, we are going to walk through 10 simple money strategies built specifically for the Australian cost of living reality in 2026. No complicated jargon. No get-rich-quick rubbish. Just practical moves that actually work. Strategy 1. Pay yourself first. Most Australians do it backwards. Pay the rent, pay the bills, pay the subscriptions, and then if anything is left, maybe save a bit. That is not a system. That is hoping for leftovers. Flip it. The moment your pay hits, move a fixed amount into a separate savings account before you touch anything else. Even $50, even $100. The amount is not the point right now. The habit is. Because financial experts recommend saving 20% of your income for long-term goals, but getting to 20% starts with getting to something. Anything. Consistently. True Car Price. Your future self is a creditor. Pay them first. Strategy 2. Track every dollar like it owes you rent. Here is the uncomfortable truth. Most Australians do not actually know where their money goes. They have but a rough idea, and the actual number are almost never the same. Young Australians, particularly Gen Z, are the most likely to overspend on restaurant meals and takeaway, with 40% spending too much in this category. Add food delivery fees, service charges, and tipping suggestions, and a Tuesday night dinner for one can quietly become $60. Do that twice a week, and you have lost $6,000 a year to meals you barely remember. True Car Price. The average Australian now spends $10,304 on groceries annually, and that is just the supermarket. The discretionary spending on top of that is where most people have no idea what is actually happening. The conversation. Track it. Not forever, just for 1 month. Use your banking app, a spreadsheet, your notes app, anything, because once you see your actual numbers, you cannot unsee them. And that awareness is where change actually starts. Strategy 3. Live slightly below your means. On purpose. Australia has a visibility problem. We are a country that loves a new ute, a good holiday, and telling people we are doing fine. But the people quietly building wealth are not the ones flashing it. They are the ones nobody notices. 54% of Australians say they are more likely to stick to a budget compared to a year ago. And 51% say they have prioritized paying down debt or moving beyond living to paycheck. That shift in behavior is more powerful than any pay rise. The Canberra Times. Living below your means does not mean being miserable. It means creating margin. And margin creates options. And options in Australia's current cost of living environment are worth more than almost anything else. Strategy 4. Build a small second income stream. Not a second job, not 16-hour days, something small. Something that adds $200 to $500 a month without destroying your weekends. In Australia right now, there are realistic options. Selling things on Facebook Marketplace or Gumtree. Freelancing a skill you already have: writing, design, admin, bookkeeping, tutoring C or VSA students online. Renting out a car park or spare room on an app. Creating a simple digital product once and selling it repeatedly. None of these are get-rich schemes, but $300 a month extra, invested consistently into an index fund tracking the ASX 200, becomes something meaningful over 10 or 20 years. The income is small. The habit it builds is not. Strategy 5. Make your savings hard to touch. Willpower is unreliable. Systems are not. Open a second savings account at a different bank. No card attached. No app on your phone. Set up an automatic transfer on payday. Then forget it exists. Credit card debt among surveyed Australians increased by 9% year on year, with buy now pay later usage rising by 8%, showing that more Australians are relying on credit to manage expenses. The tap and go economy is designed for instant access. Your savings strategy needs to work against that by adding friction between you and your own money. Out of sight, out of mind, still there in 12 months. The Conversation Strategy 6. Start investing even if it feels small. $500 in an ASX ETF is not a retirement plan, but it is something far more valuable than a retirement plan right now. It is the beginning of an identity shift. You stop being someone who spends everything and starts being someone who owns something. Time in the market beats timing the market. That is not just a saying. It is how compounding actually works. A 25-year-old who invests $200 a month into a broad ASX ETF earning 8% average annual returns will have roughly $700,000 by age 65. The same person starting at 35 ends up with around $300,000. Same discipline. 10 fewer years. Less than half the result. Start now. Start small. Start Strategy 7. Use the right maths. Poor math asks, can I afford the repayments? Rich math asks, what does this actually cost me over time? A $500 a month car repayment over 5 years is $30,000 before interest. A $15 a week subscription you forgot about is $780 a year. 3 forgotten subscriptions is over $2,000 gone annually without a single conscious decision. A simple starting framework for Australians right now. 50% of take-home pay on needs, 20% into savings and investments, 30% on wants. If the cost of living makes that impossible today, start at 50-10-40 and move toward the target over time. The direction matters more than perfection. Strategy 8. Kill the debt traps. Buy now, pay later is the new credit card. Except it is faster, easier, and has even less friction between you and spending money you do not have. Buy now, pay later usage among Australians rose 8% year on year, alongside rising credit card debt. That is not Australians getting richer. That is Australians patching cash flow gaps with short-term credit. And short-term credit has a long-term cost. The conversation: every repayment you are locked into is income you cannot redirect. Every interest charge is money that builds someone else's wealth, not yours. If it does not pay you back, it is a liability. Simple as that. Strategy 9. Build quiet wealth. Real wealth in Australia does not look like a new Ranger on the driveway and an afterpay account at capacity. It looks like someone with no debt, a growing super balance, and the ability to handle a $3,000 emergency without their stomach dropping. The people building it quietly are the ones who stopped performing for everyone else. No lifestyle competition. No pressure to match what the neighbors are doing. Just boring, consistent progress that nobody talks about at a barbecue because there is nothing flashy to announce. That is the goal. Not noise. Stability. Strategy 10. Automate everything, then forget about it. Motivation fades. Discipline gets tested. Life gets busy. A system does not care about any of that. Automate your savings transfer on payday. Automate your super contributions. Automate your investment into an ETF if you can. Set it and genuinely stop thinking about it. Because the Australian household savings rate fell to just 6.2% in early 2026, which means the average Australian is making mostly conscious decisions about money, and those conscious decisions are not working well enough. An automated system removes the decision entirely and makes the right move happen whether you feel like it or not. True car price, the hardest part of building wealth in Australia right now, is not the cost of living. The cost of living is a real pressure, and it deserves to be taken seriously. But the gap between people who get ahead and people who stay stuck is almost never income. It is almost always behavior. You do not need a pay rise to start. You need a system. Build it today. Make it boring. Let it run quietly in the background while everyone else is waiting for things to get easier. Because things might not get easier, but your system does not need them to. Subscribe to Money Made Australia for more practical money breakdowns built for everyday Australians. And comment below which of these 10 strategies are you starting with. Because I reckon most people already know the answer. They just need to start.